Welcome, historians. We are the Mana Dorks, and this is Mana Rant, a historic podcast. And here tonight, back from the town of Sin, with only 3 liens against his house, a shattered ego, and an official world record of most losses ever at the game of poker. I always told you were bad at card games, dude. We have Hoshi.
Hey, I broke even at the end. I mean, it was a little bit of roulette and a little bit of poker and and a lot of booze involved in those, which was, in retrospect, probably not the best choice. But I mean, I came out on even, so winning. I'd say yes. I won a few.
I feel like words can't describe or emphasize how much booze really went into this past weekend. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. And the person talking here, some call me Big Head, some call me Waka Waka, and some just call me plain old dumb. But tonight, I am just going to be DrunkenDork. What is up, everyone? And If you watch us every week, you'll notice that it's just 2 of us here tonight, and that's because, after an entire year of waiting, Apollo finally got into the military. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I heard from a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy that. What actually happened is the U.S. military, they're just not getting any applicants right now, like none. It's like a huge deficit of applicants. And so you've heard the term like bottom of the barrel. I mean, they went to the bottom of the barrel. There weren't any applications. So they had to go into the trash can for their thrown out ones, the ones that just weren't going to make it at all. And they happened to find Apollos at the bottom of the trash can, though.
Whoa.
It wasn't even in the middle. It wasn't at the top. It was at the very bottom of the trash can. But they got him. And he's officially in the military, which is going to completely change our podcast a little bit going forward. Yeah, congrats, dude.
Yeah, proud of him.
I don't know, what we're going to be doing from now on. It's just going to be me and Hoshi for the time being, but things may change a little bit, right?
He's got to go through boot camp, and then he's got to go through tech school, and so he's definitely not going to be able to do anything while he's in boot camp. But when he gets into tech school, maybe it depends how he's doing, right? Like if he's having a hard time in there, he's probably not going to be able to join us. But we'll see. So at least for the next 8 weeks. There will be no Apollo, unfortunately. But
it will be a while. But yeah, congrats, dude. Apollo, if you're watching, we're both proud of, or at least I'm proud of you, man.
We're rooting for you. Don't cry.
Yeah, please don't. I know you will, but if you do, just hide it deep into your pillow at night. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, this is Mana Rant, a historic podcast, and this week, like every week, we go through the phases of Magic, and that works like we have our Untap, Upkeep, Draw, Main Phase 1, Combat, Main Phase 2, End Step, Cleanup, and Discard. And this week, like every week, we will start with our Untap step, and that's where we just crack a beer.
Awesome.
And I don't ever host that often, so, don't mind me if I'm, all over the place, or do mind me.
I do.
I just want to say what up to Jacavio, what up, S'mores and Bacon?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
What's up, guys?
Always nice to have you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So this week, I'm drinking a Gold Rush. This is from one of our favorite restaurants. It is whiskey and then honey and lemon. It's a very simple drink, very tasty. I like it.
That sounds disgusting.
It's actually bourbon, but it's still whiskey, just a different type.
I realized this weekend when we were in Vegas that I just really can't handle whiskey anymore.
Yeah.
It was making me nauseous the moment it touched my lips. I am such a baby.
Yeah, the day 2 that we were there, we were at a pool party, and DrunkenDork overdid it on the spirits a little bit, and it was nighty night very early. He's like, yeah, we're going to go out and do all this stuff that night, and then somebody was hugging the toilet.
Yeah, it was wild. It was no good. No good. And it kind of just threw off the rest of the trip for me, because then I like woke up at like 3 a.m. wide awake, like, okay, let's do this, and nobody else is up, you know, and yeah, it was a trip. Good times, good times.
His wife told us that he called her saying, "I don't know where my phone is."
Dude, I couldn't find my phone. It was in my hands, you know?
It's tricky. It's true. What are you drinking, dude?
I got some big, goofy-looking hands. All right, and this week I'm drinking Black Raven. It's just a regular Pilsner. Nothing exciting for me, like every week.
Okay, cool, man. Cool.
And that will take us to our upkeep, which is the Red Rant, and I am going to hand it over to Hoshi.
Upkeep, get ya upkeep.
All right, guys. So this is going to be Reddit Rant. Reddit Rant is where we scour the internet for lunatics complaining about Magic the Gathering, which is very easy to do. So this week we are going to Facebook, where no one should ever go. And we have in the Magic Arena Facebook group, David McRae, and he is pissed. And David says, if you have an Ugin the Spirit Dragon out and you have the win, and I play a Lich's Mastery and say good game because I'm dead next turn. If you guys don't know what Lich's Mastery is, it's a 6 cost enchantment. That's crazy what it actually does. But it's kind of like 9 Lives, where if it goes away, you lose the game, and it has hexproof. So what he's saying here is that like Ugin can just minus and get rid of Lich's Mastery and like kill him. Okay, so. All right, so, and you have the win, and I play Lich's Mastery and say, good game, because I'm dead next turn anyways. You -6 Ugin and end the game. You do not jerk yourself off for the next 3 minutes, wasting people's time when you have the win on a silver platter. I was being a good sport and didn't just concede so you can have the satisfaction of the finishing blow. But I opted out. but I opted out to be like, emerged, watched my deck do that thing before you deserves fap. So I conceded anyways. Why do people do this?
Yes.
Yes, I can feel your anger.
Oh man.
I mean, what do you
go
think?
for it?
No, I was just gonna say I see both sides of this. You know, like sometimes you just have like an awesome board state and you kind of want to play around with it a little bit and be like, well, what can I do at this point? You know, like with like how much power I actually have at my fingertips. But then at the same time, yeah, like the other person is just like they're being nice and they're waiting for you to finish it off. Usually what I do if I see something like that, I just kill them. You know, I don't cast anything else. I'll just go swing in or whatever. But I've definitely done this before too, where I've waited for people and then they're like, oh no, I'm gonna start casting, and I'm like, all right, never mind, and I just concede on him. I don't get this upset about it, but I did think it was pretty funny. What do you think?
I mean, this happens to me often because I generally don't like to just concede. Like if I know they have a win on the board, I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, like get your win in, that's fine. Unless they're already slow rolling throughout the game, then I just concede. But anyway, this pisses me the fuck off so much when people do this.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I just have to hit you with my 1/1, but instead I'm going to elf ball out of control. Like, you know, and like get a Crater Hoof Behemoth out, like after, you know, jerking my deck off for like 10 minutes straight, but... No, like I don't just want to hit you with my 1/1 in the game.
Yeah.
I have to fucking like, you know, seal the deal here. Yeah, I don't know. I will say though to that, I have done this before. You know, I'm totally contradicting myself.
You were the one that made us develop the term Dexter baiting, basically.
Nah, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But like if I haven't touched Arena for a couple days, which rarely happens, and I have a few of my dailies to finish, and if I'm playing a deck, I'm like, oh, I could cast like 3 more green spells, and I have 3 green dailies, and they're all dependent on that. I may cast all those green spells instead of just like winning the game right there.
That makes sense.
And so that's generally the only time I do it. I don't ever do it just to jerk off, though. And yeah, from the looks of it, who knows what they were doing here? Like, who knows what this person was trying to do? If they were just trying to get their dailies done, or if they really just want to see their deck explode all over this other person.
I think that's what it was. I think the dude was just like, oh, let's see what's possible. The dude took screenshots of everything. He was so mad.
Yeah.
He's like, can you believe this asshole?
It's great. I love it, dude. I love people like this. It's amazing.
Me too, man. Well, that was it for Reddit Rant, where we look at lunatics on the internet. So if you find a lunatic or just somebody ranting about their opponent being a big old D-bag, then send it our way. We like to see these things. And with that, I will send it back to you, Drunken.
And that will take us to the draw phase. And this is a phase where we just talk about what formats we've been playing, if any, in Arena this week, or any type of Magic, actually. So what have you been playing, Hoshi?
Not much, unfortunately, because we were in Vegas. So just the decks that I've already had. I haven't got to play around too much. What about you?
In Vegas, I was really hammering it out with Green Stompy, and we were hammered at a pool party, and we were talking about Magic there. And I'm telling you, I have Green Stompy, and I run that stupid enchantment that turns things into 3/3s.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, yo, you fucking idiot! What are you doing running that? You should be running Crash Through. What is it? What is the card?
A Ram Through.
Ram Through.
Yeah.
And what a difference that made. You know, having Death Touch creatures in that deck and being able to ram through, even if it's a big old monster of a creature. Yeah. It's a great card. Great addition. So yeah, I've been playing nothing but mono green, pretty much. Mono green Stompy. Nice. And I feel like, especially now with Brainstorm being banned, which we'll talk about in a moment, that there's a card in there, Garruk's Harbinger, whatever the hell it's called.
Harbinger.
Harbinger. It just works so well in the meta right now. It's been a blast to play with, and especially today, it's been performing really well.
Awesome.
But with the caveat of Elves, dude, I don't think I've won a single game against Elves. Mono green Stompy just can't do shit. Elves is too wide. It just goes way too wide.
Yeah, that is a problem for that deck. I think it's really good against control, though. But yeah, Elves just, we'll talk about it, I guess, when we get there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
And, you have anything else to say?
I played the Artesian standard event was on there. In our Discord, I posted a deck that I used and just absolutely destroyed people with. It was like a life gain deck. It's really easy to come up with, but it worked really well with Cleric class and all that stuff. It was fun to play standard for once. And then I immediately went back to historic where I belong. But yeah, that was it.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw you post that into our into the deck
list. Yeah,
with channel or whatever. And I just have no desire to play. I have no desire to play standard, but I definitely not Artesian in standard, where your card pool is super limited. Artesian historic, I fucking love it to death.
But it's two free. It's two free wilds. So might as well.
Yeah,
grind it out for 2 games.
if you want to fucking go through that, sure. Yeah.
I'm cheap.
All right.
So,
and with that will take us to our first main phase.
Phase 1.
This week, big news, big old news this week. Brainstorm. Let me start by saying I was wrong. Brainstorm is suspended. I think I claimed many times it's Brainstorm's not going to get suspended.
Brainstorm's not going nowhere. I know.
Yeah. It's we don't have fetch lands. That card's it's okay.
It's not even great. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I still feel like I run into Thoughtseize. I'm getting whatever. Anyway, so Brainstorm's gone from Historic. It's a sad day. This card's super sweet, and I mean, it's fun because it doesn't, it belongs in any deck that runs blue. The bad thing is everyone was running blue, so they could run cards like Brainstorm.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this, Hoshi? How do you think this is going to affect our format? How do you think it's going to affect best of one? Do you ever play best of three? Like,
no,
if
not
so,
really.
how do you think it's going to affect that?
I'm usually best of one. Let's take a look at the actual article first.
Okay.
Yeah, the ban restricted amounts for Historic in July. So they mentioned that they were keeping an eye on like just is it in general, and then Brainstorm in particular. And then they go on and on about like the stats and how they're saying, like the win percentage on it isn't that crazy, and that there are decks that are very powerful against both Is It Phoenix and Jeskai Control. But they were seeing such a large amount of those decks in the meta that were like dominating or at least up at the top, that they felt that is not healthy for a meta to have like 30% of people or like 14 or whatever, like, playing those decks. Well, basically between those two was like 30% of the meta. So you're running into that like basically all the time at that point. And so they didn't like that. And so I think because Jeskai Control was in there, and Jeskai Control uses Brainstorm. So Brainstorm was kind of the one card that they could take out to really kind of neuter both of those decks in a way, but not like completely destroy them. Where I thought kind of the better card to take out would be Arclight Phoenix, right? At least that was my thought, was if they were to get rid of Phoenix, right, then they could still keep Brainstorm, and then they could have Faithless Looting and all that stuff. But I guess not. They went with, but that would do nothing to the Jeskai Control. So Brainstorm was the one card that really like was able to hit both of those decks. And so I think that's really why they do it. But at the end, I think they make a good point, and this is the only reason I really wanted to bring this up. They said, while our most recent actions in Historic have been bans, such as those of Time Warp and Thassa's Oracle, those were cases where we had a clear convincing data showing the cards were problematic. In this case, the data is less clear, and that is exactly where we prefer to utilize suspension, where we continue to monitor the historic meta closely to see if it reaches a point where reintroducing Brainstorm seems safe, or if we should move to a full ban on Brainstorm. I like that they did this. I feel like I was not a huge fan of Brainstorm, not because I think the card is overpowered. I just think it's annoying to play against because it's a slow card, right? They have to look at the cards that they draw, and then they have to figure out what order they want to put them back in. And it's just like, every time I play against somebody that runs it in the deck, it feels like they get 3 or 4 of them. So I'm just like, here we go again, right, with the Brainstorm. I don't think it's like I still don't think it's that crazy powerful of a card. I could be wrong. They did suspend it. But I'm kind of glad, out of the 3 cards that I thought they were going to possibly suspend, which was Arclight Phoenix, Faithless Looting, and Brainstorm. I'm glad it was Brainstorm, I guess, because that leaves the most decks intact, right? Like if they took Arclight Phoenix out, that deck is dead completely. And if they took out Faithless Looting, a whole bunch of decks get hit hard by that. That was my biggest fear, was that they were gonna suspend Faithless Looting, because I mean the Dragonstorm decks, like there's so much cool stuff I think that Faithless Looting enables. So I was kind of afraid of them. So I'm glad if they did ban something, it was this card and not Faithless. What about you? What'd you think?
I think, so like I said, today I was playing, and they just banned it today. And I ran across, I think, one is a deck in the process, one Phoenix deck, and, it still ran well. It didn't have the blue mana instant speed card draw card, but I mean, it had off, but it didn't have the better one, Brainstorm. But the deck still ran fine. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, to me, like, I think definitely Faithless Looting is way more oppressive. I think Faithless Looting is just as time consuming.
Way more powerful. Yeah, I don't think it's as time consuming, but it is still a slow card for sure.
And like that is really what propels the Phoenix deck forward, is cards like that.
Absolutely.
You know, that deck runs fine without. I mean, it runs fine without Brainstorm because it was already running without Brainstorm. And then when they added Faithless Looting and Brainstorm at the same time, it just like got that much better.
Yeah, it did.
It became a tier 2 deck from a tier 2 deck to a tier like S deck or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
B to S. And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm fine with it, I guess. Like, Faithless Looting is like, it does go well in like discard decks, like, I mean, graveyard decks that don't have Phoenix in it, go like fun artifact decks. You can build more janky stuff, I think, with it, whereas Brainstorm is like, you know, it's just a card draw card.
Yeah. It's a blue power card.
Yeah, sure. I just don't think they need to ban anything, honestly. I don't think they need to ban this. I did run against Izzet a lot, but I also run against other decks a lot, like Elves, all the time. I feel like I see Elves like almost more than any other deck.
Yeah, I see Elves a lot too.
And so, yeah, I don't know. That's my take on it. So what, with that, where do you think the meta is going to go? Or if you've played today, have you seen the meta shift? Let's start with that. Have you seen the meta shift at all if you played today?
I haven't played today. I was tuning into our Discord channel, though, and they were talking about how Jund Sacrifice is really popping up now. Like, it's popping up like crazy, apparently, which I could totally see that because it was a very strong deck before, and I think that's kind of the fallback, right? Where it was such a, like, tier, 1 deck for a very long time, and then these Jeskai decks popped up and really, like, kicked it in the balls. So, that's one of those things that people just go back to. They're like, oh, well, this deck's gone. Hey, Jund Sacrifice, right? I have that deck basically already made. So let's see if it's strong again, because people really love that deck for some reason. I hate it a lot. I hate it so much because of the stupid cat oven thing where they're just like, cat oven. It's just texture baiting once again. Yeah.
Jacavia says ban Tybalt's Trickery. That card's annoying, but they don't need to ban that.
Absolutely, no, ban the shit out of Tybalt's Trickery. So I came back from Vegas, and I was playing in just the unranked queue, and I went against like 10 Tybalt's Trickery decks, and guess how many of them bricked? One of them bricked. Yeah. 9 times they got Ugin on turn 2. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? How is this? I mean, it's the play queue, so whatever. Yeah, the play queue is so rigged. It's not even funny. I feel like definitely the rank queue is not, like, you don't run into the shenanigans like that.
Never. You almost never run into Tybalt's Trickery.
Oh man, I was getting murdered by Tybalt's Trickery. I was like, I felt like ripping my hair out. I was like, I hate it so much though, because you sit there and you're like, you're building your hand out, and you're like, yeah, this seems like a good one to pick, and then it doesn't matter what you do because
they mold a 3 and then they just win.
Yeah, they mold a 3 and either they win or they lose at turn 2, right? It's turn 2 and then they cast it and then either they win or they lose and then they just concede, and you're like, I wasn't even playing. I didn't even get to play at all, right? Like, I did 2 things and it didn't matter, right? Because like, it
is annoying. I agree.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like a Magic card. It doesn't feel like you're playing with an opponent at all when you play against that deck. Anyways, that is not what we were talking, but I do agree. Yes, Jacavio, 100%. Yeah. Ban the shit out of Tybalt's Trickery. I hate
Don't
it.
ever listen to Hoshi.
I hate it so much.
That is bad advice.
I hate it. It's my number 1 hated card in the format.
All right, we're not talking about that though. We're talking about Brainstorm. We're talking about the future of Historic.
Okay, the future of Historic. Yeah. So Brainstorm. Another thing that I was wondering. So I went to the Reddit community, which is always fun to do. And they're like, "Oh, you're an idiot," and I just asked, like, "Hey, what is next? What do you think is next on WotC's radar for bans, you know? And what I was getting back from people is...
you asked this today?
Yeah, today. I went on there, and overwhelmingly what I got back from people was memory lapse. They think is next on the ban list. I don't know if I mean, memory lapse is super powerful and it's really annoying to play against. What do you think? Do you think that is the next ban-worthy card?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No?
I think it worked really well in the decks that had Brainstorm in it. And I think those decks are going to start depleting. So, yeah.
Okay.
Jacavia says, no more bans, please.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I just don't think it's necessary right now. I think, because we lost like a big player in the blue-red fucking Sprite Dragon deck.
Yeah.
We don't need something like Memory Lapse Band. It does work well in other decks. Like that's not the only deck it worked in, but Brainstorm worked in all the decks that Memory Lapse works in. And so even though we're still going to be seeing it, we're not going to be seeing it as much because we're not going to be seeing as much of Brainstorm anymore. So
yeah, that's probably true.
And I will say, so I was in that discussion on our Discord about what we've seen today, because I was playing. I was in class today, but while I was in class, between lectures, I was playing some games of Magic, and I ran into nothing but I ran into a lot of Grixis.
Okay.
And a lot of Jund. It was Black Red X.
Okay.
And holy shit, man. It's like, it was just that back to back, which I didn't mind because I was running Green Stompy, and I'm not kidding you, Garruk's Harbinger, it was like auto concede. Concede, like sometimes. They just see it and be like, nope.
That's true.
I can't deal with that. And it, so it's working really well.
I think people default to Jund because it's a good deck, right? And most people already have it because it was a top tier for so long. And then I feel like people really love Grixis control because it's a fun form of control. It's much more fun to play than like Azorius control, I feel like. And a lot of people like it. It's just not good. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to win. I feel like every time I play Grixis control, I really like it, but it's like Razor's Edge, like where you're like down to one life and like then maybe you win, right? And so I think that anytime there's a change in the meta, people are like, is Grixis good now? Can I play it? Right? And then it'll be like, no. In a week, you won't see Grixis control anymore, unfortunately. Because it's my favorite type of control, like that. Like
tap out control, man.
Yeah, a little bit of counter, a little bit of kill stuff, and then like, some powerful planeswalker or something to end it out. It's fun. Yeah.
But the future of it, I don't know. I think we're gonna see a change in the beginning, like a significant change, because everyone was running Brainstorm. But I think once people figure out the decks they want to play, which is gonna happen quickly.
Yeah.
We're gonna start seeing Azorius again. We're gonna see some Phoenix again because we still have Faithless Looting, which is the best card in that deck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, so good.
We're gonna be seeing whatever was running Brainstorm. We're gonna be still be seeing that deck. We're just gonna be seeing it without Brainstorm.
And Brainstorm's suspended too, so it's not gone forever, right? It could come back, just like Burning Tree Emissary. When they banned that, we were like, yeah, it's gotta go. It's so insanely powerful.
That's so funny.
In that current meta, right? In that current meta. And then now you're like, Burning Tree's good. Yeah, it's not like, it's not insanely busted. And so I feel like I said, Brainstorm is not like in a superior powerful card. It's good. It's just those decks were utilizing it very well. So I think that was the best thing for them to take out. Once some other power cards start creeping up, I think they will unban Brainstorm. That's what I think. Do you think they'll unban it?
It just depends how they roll it out. You know, it's like we talked about in an earlier episode is, you know, they halted Pioneer Masters or whatever, which was supposed to come to Arena.
Yeah.
Because basically they're halting Pioneer because Historic is the new, I guess, format, whatever. Older format. But anyway, if they bring in fetch lands to Historic, which I would fucking love.
That'd be crazy.
Be crazy. Make those mana bases perfect.
Might as well.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine they would bring Brainstorm back. Brainstorm at that point would just be broken.
That's true. Brainstorm would be really good if they had fetch lands. Yeah. So I guess it like you were saying right there, it depends. But I think one of the things that's crazy about Historic, and if we look at this article, they were talking about earlier, like, you know, watching these other decks where Pioneer is not a digital format. So I think they have a lot harder time figuring out what's going on with Pioneer and all the other Eternal formats, right? Because they don't have the stats that they really do in Arena, which is crazy. Well, you know, how much of a hive mind Arena is and how much data they're able to harvest out of it, that they're able to like make these ban decisions super quick in this format, which is kind of terrifying, you know, but also I feel like good in a way, right? They're trying to maintain a balance in the format to make it so that no deck is like overpowered, and they can come out with these ban things very quickly, which is good and bad at the same time, right? It's good because we all want a balanced format. That's what everyone bitches about a lot. Oh, I see these two decks the most, you know, and then they're trying to fix that, but everyone also hates getting their cards banned. So it's like, which one do you want? You know, it's hard. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I was gonna say, you know, they do have every other format besides Vintage. Actually, I think they do have Vintage on MTGO, but you're right, they don't have the scope that they do with. Are you laughing at Jacobio?
Yeah, never.
Yeah,
fetches.
That's pretty good. But they don't have the scope of what Arena holds, right? Like, sure, there's MTGO, but it's a tiny little needle prick of a fraction of the amount of people that play Arena.
That's true.
So
yeah,
you're able to figure out formats way quicker. Because even, you know, back when I used to play a ton of Paper way before Arena, MTGO was around. But still, decks did not get figured out for like months after, just because.
Also, who knows what kind of data they're actually able to pull out of MTGO? That thing is like made in DOS, or like, you know, it's like made
so clunky.
It's like made in machine code.
So clunky.
Like they're probably not actually able to pull like really good data out of it, just because it's such a shitty old platform that it was built on. Who knows what kind of engine or what they're using for that thing? But I definitely know that they're able to pull really good stats out of Arena. I think they bake that into the program, and that could be one of the reasons that it runs so shitty too, is that they're harvesting so much data out of it. Just like everything nowadays, everyone's watching us. Be afraid, people.
So I have a quick story I'm gonna say.
No.
I went to a Magic event since I've been living in Seattle. I think it was like Modern or something like that. But I just like sat down and I was like, hey man, do you want to play a game? And guy's like, sure. So we played a game of Modern or something. I don't know what it was. And I was talking to him. I was like, so, how'd you get into Magic? He's like, oh, you know, I've been playing since it started, and I actually work on MTGO. He's like, I work for Wizards of the Coast. I work on MTGO. So badly did I want to be like, Arena was already around at this point, but it was relatively new. And so badly I want to be like, so are you afraid of losing your job because Arena's around now? Like, dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. And you know, I think the drop off is probably significantly getting worse and worse. And we are really off topic now because we were talking about Brainstorm and now I'm talking about this. So back to Brainstorm. Sorry. Do you have anything else to say about Brainstorm?
No, I'm always sad to see anything suspended. Especially this is a weird one because I feel like it wasn't super dominating. Where most of the other like bands that we got, I felt like were kind of needed. Where I don't think this one was. But I mean, they did it. Let's see if it makes the format better, I guess, right? Time will tell if things are more balanced or whatever. What about you? Anything else?
I just want to say kind of like what you said earlier. Brainstorm doesn't really do anything right now in the format. If until we have fetch lands or something to really spice it up where you can like manipulate the top of your deck, it's not a super exciting card. Now if they banned or suspended something like Faithless Looting, it would be disappointing because it's a really fun card to play with. So I really like that you said that, and let's just see how it turns out.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good.
And with that, we will be moving into our combat phase.
Dorkish combat.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. Oh, man.
I love it.
All right. So our combat phase is... this is generally my phase, and it still is my phase. This is a horseshit card game. And this is a game where I generally... I name out a few cards. One of them is fake, and it's up to this drunken idiot and Jacavio, the other idiot, to figure out which one it is. And Jacavio, dude, you got it right last week. I'm proud of you. He sent a message saying on YouTube, he said like drunken idiot or drunken dork, you fucking idiot. Make some good cards or something like that. It was hilarious. Had me laughing out loud. But anyway, I'm actually changing it up this week.
Really?
I'm doing something a little different. Apollo's not here. He's not going to be here for a while, so I may kind of like change it every week just to, keep you on your toes, Hoshi.
Okay.
Because now it's only 3 cards, So this week, what I'm doing is I'm naming 3 cards. They're all real cards. They're all mythic rares. One of them isn't in the historic format.
Oh.
How well do you know historic?
Okay. I like it. I like the mix up there. That's good. That's tricky. I wonder how I'm not sure how we're actually going to proceed with the game, because we had this whole point system set up, and then the Air Force came in and fucked it up last week by giving him a job. So,
dude, Apollo, the obvious choice in like good life choices is just do the podcast.
Professional podcaster, professional historic podcaster.
Yeah.
Easily. All right. Well, I mean,
but
we haven't figured out.
So
how
do you
want to
start? Do you want to start the points over? Should we do it that way? I mean,
yeah, probably. We'll talk about it offline, I guess, and figure out what we want to do, and maybe if anyone else has some suggestions on how we should carry forward without Apollo here and our point system, our convoluted, nonsensical point system. We're all ears. So
pride, man, that means everything.
It does, yeah. We'll figure it out. I'll come up with something before next week.
Okay. Well, here we go. I'm going to start off with the first card. You ready?
I'm ready.
So the first card is Abyssal Persecutor. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right.
Okay.
It is 2 black for a creature demon with flying and trample. And it says, you can't win the game and your opponents can't lose the game. And it is a 6/6.
Okay.
The second card is Lord of Extinction. It is 3 black green for a creature elemental. It says Lord of Extinction's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in all graveyards. And it is a star power and toughness.
Okay.
And finally, we have Metallurgic Summonings. It is 3 blue for an enchantment, and it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is the spell's mana value. It has 3 blue, exile Metallurgic Summonings, return all instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand, activate only if you control 6 or more artifacts. Sorry, my dog's barking.
Okay. Man. I'm really in between 2 different cards right now. I think I'm going with... I'm sure of one of them. I don't want to spoil it.
Which one are you sure of?
I don't want to spoil it for people if they're picking,
okay.
You know. We'll talk about that afterwards, I guess. I'm going to go with Abyssal Prosecutor. I think that one is not in Historic.
Not in Historic. All right, and Jacavio also took the Prosecutor. Am I an idiot? Okay.
Yes. That's the quickest yes I've ever said in my life.
All right. And so, no, Persecutor. That's what it is.
It is Persecutor.
Okay, it's Persecutor. My God.
You're doing good.
All right.
Keep it up.
Yeah, I'm doing great. So, this week, we definitely have a fucking idiot. And that is this guy. I am the idiot.
Yes.
Good job, Jacavio.
Yes.
Good job, Hoshi.
Holy shit. Yes. Awesome, dude.
Yeah, Jacavio. Hey, even a steak. I mean, even a trash can gets steak every once in a while, Jacavio.
Dude.
Even a steak gets steak every once in a while.
Awesome.
I don't know where I was going with that.
You are just in fine form tonight. It's great.
I know.
I love it.
Dude, it's
usually me, because I'm the one that like jacks up the Reddit rant all the time. I'm like, why am I reading? I don't know how to read. Why am I reading? The one that always reads articles.
Dude.
But this is great.
So my work, I was in Atlanta the other day, and they sent everyone home for something for my work. And so now I'm taking this class, like I'm doing this training thing through my work, and I'm on East Coast time, and I'm in the West Coast. Mm-hmm. So my class starts at 5 a.m. every day. It is miserable.
That sucks.
It's miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That'll jack your brain up.
Well, all right, and Jacavio says, "Ha ha ha ha! You have to lower the bar for me now, or for me to win." Yeah, you're right, Jacavio. I don't give you enough credit, man. I know you got this. So I like this.
Oh, I was gonna say I like the which one is not in Historic thing though too. That's cool. The Mythic made it a little bit easier because I feel like there's less Mythics, right? So I think,
dude, I looked through every Mythic in Historic when I was looking through it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all of these I know. I know every single one, and I know that they're in Historic.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is hard. I feel like maybe next week I'm going to do this with rares.
And do 4.
It'll make it a little bit harder for sure.
Yeah, rares and maybe do 4 of them or something. Because this okay. Yeah, because I knew Metallurgic Summoning, and I know I've seen Lord of Extinction. So yeah, this one was a little too easy, I think. But I mean, I do enjoy you losing, so that is that is fun. And this is Historic too, so this is a nice little twist. So you did something smart, and then you did something dumb at the same time, which is classic you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. That is a DrunkenDork move for sure.
Awesome.
Right. But yeah, with that, that's going to bring us into our main phase 2, which is
2. It's Apollo's Wacky Wild Card of the Week in Metagame Showdown.
Well,
you hear it. I don't hear it. Anyway, I didn't hear it, so I don't know if you all hear it. It's Apollo's Wacky Wild Card of the Week and Metagame Showcase Showdown bullshit. I don't know what it is.
Perfect.
But anyway, this week, so I talked to Hoshi about it, Usually Apollo picks a really bad card and he's like, hey, you should craft 4 of these, even though they're mythic rare and you'll never use it in any deck. Me and Hoshi are a little more sane, and I think we're just like more reasonable people than he is. So
That's true.
Our wacky wild card of the week is going to be, you want to say it, Hoshi?
It's Llanowar Elves. Yeah, if you don't have Llanowar Elves, you should get it. I mean, it's just like if there's a deck that is running green, like, is there any green deck where you don't run Llanowar Elves in?
There's not many. I looked it up on MTG Goldfish, and the number 1 card in Historic is actually, well, maybe we'll save it and we'll use it. I think actually we already did it. It's Thoughtseize. Yeah, I think we did a crafting of Thoughtseize once.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think number 2 was Llanowar Elves.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you don't have it, make it. It's a common. It's really easy to do. And with that, we're going to talk about the second part of this main phase 2, which is the meta game showcase.
Very
whatever, I don't know.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, this is Apollo's segment, so I'm trying my darndest to be as enthusiastic as him, but I don't think I can ever do it. So what I did is, instead of just making a tier list myself, I went onto the Aetherhub assistant client, and what they do is they actually gather data from people who use a Aetherhub assistant, and they show you what is the top decks according to them. And so yeah, I did that, and that is what you are seeing now. And at the very top, this is best of 1, by the way. At the very top, we have mono green elves, which is significantly more than anybody else.
Yeah, 19%.
What do you have to say about this?
I mean, it's insane that Elves is at the top, because Elves was such a joke in Historic for so long, and then now it's just become like so many people are playing this, and the win percentage is 60% pretty much. It's weird that WotC has not recognized any of the tribal decks at all. They never talked about goblins when it was like 90% of the meta or whatever it was for a while. They're not talking about I mean, which is fine. I like tribal decks, but it's just weird that it's like there's been 2 tribal decks that have been like, just huge in the meta for a while, and
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. I love Elves. I think it's a fun deck to play. It's like a go-to for me.
Yeah.
I hate playing against it with my mono green deck recently. It runs wide. Everyone knows that. So it's really good in certain metas. It's really good against certain matchups. This doesn't necessarily have the highest win rate, but it has the most games played and won, is basically what it is. That's why it's at the top.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to say about it?
No. I mean, we'll go through them afterwards. So let's just run down the list, and then we'll go through each of them individually, I guess.
Okay. Next on the list is Selesnya Life Gain, which is like about half the amount of games, less than half the amount of games won. So that's less than half the amount of games played. And then after that is 5-color dragons. It's basically like a dragon deck. It's not really 5 colors, though. It's more like Jeskai. Mizzix Mastery, I think, is what this deck really is.
Okay.
And then following that is mono Red Aggro. Then we have Gruul Aggro. Then Boros Tokens, which I think is fun.
Yeah.
Boros Lurrus, mono Red Goblins, and then finally some Jeskai bullshit. So, I mean, we've already talked about Selesnya Life Game before. Do you have anything to say about this at number 2?
We already talked about Elves. So, Selesnya Life Gain. Let's look at this list, what they say is number 2. Now, this is just like, collected company Angels, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy strong deck. No, not really too much to say about this one. I'm surprised it's still number 2, I guess. I haven't run into it in a minute, but no. Nothing else to say.
Yeah, same. All right, next one. 5 color dragons, which
this
is actually Jeskai Mizzix Mastery.
It's Dragonstorm.
What do you think about this deck?
Yeah, this deck is sweet. What I think is crazy about this one that I haven't seen before is that they got the Scholar of the Lost Trove in there, and then they got the Emergent Ultimatum also in here, which is really crazy. Man, that's really cool. I have not seen this version of it, and I'm surprised this is one of the top decks right now. I've definitely seen the Dragonstorm decks, but they've taken a twist a little bit with the Emergent and the Scholar in there, which is really cool. I like the Terror of the Peaks, and they got the double Bladewing the Risens in there with that combo. Insane. It's this looks fun. This looks really fun to play, actually. I gotta make this deck and give it a try. Mizzix Mastery is also one of the cards that people are throwing out in my discussion about what people think should be banned next. And this got thrown in there in that discussion because it cheats mana, right? So the possibility of this, because this whole deck is relying upon Mizzix Mastery, right? With the Emergent Ultimatum and the Scholar of the Ages, like, it doesn't really do anything without that card. So and the Dragonstorm. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this deck is... So if you... I mean, I don't know how it looks on your screen, but the first row is Faithless Looting, followed by Thrilling Discovery, followed by Cathartic Reunion, followed by... it has Prismatic Command, but not that one. Mizzix Mastery. So Thrilling Discovery, Cathartic Reunion, and Faithless Looting is the engine of this deck. Yeah. And then all this other shit is fodder for the graveyard that you can just return, you know? You want to throw your Imperial Rights into the graveyard. You want to throw, like, everything in there, right? Yeah, this deck looks really cool. I like it a lot. It's completely different, and I've definitely played against it, and it has murdered me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If they get this combo off, if they get Mizzix Mastery off, you're dead. you know,
I feel like that's it. Just anytime they get anyone gets a Mizzix Mastery off. Yeah, and I never thought this card was going to be this powerful. I
remember
because
it seems
kind of clunky.
We talked about it. I was telling you it cheats mana, so there's insane things that you can do with that. And I mean,
you're right.
Faithless Looting is really what made it possible, though. Without that card, you know, it's not as good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So after that is
mono red.
Yeah.
Yikes.
What the heck? I lost my picture. Yeah, mono red aggro. Yeah. I have nothing to say about this.
No one's surprised.
Do you have anything?
No one does. It's a brain dead deck. Which
I don't agree with that.
I know. Which is, it's fun to mess with mono red players because you're like, no, my deck is super smart. It's not. Yeah. All right. So next, let's go to Gruul.
Yeah. Once again, nothing to say. It's just Gruul. It's Gruul aggro. Looks good.
Yeah, this one's great. This is different than the Gruul that I've been playing recently. I might make a video about it if I have time. But yeah, I'm surprised there's no wolf in here. There's no wolfy girl. The Night Pack leader or whatever. So this does look like an older version of Gruul.
I think it's because, I think they base it over like maybe 30 days or something, the last 30 days.
Maybe.
So maybe it hasn't been used enough, or I think the early green is just hard to justify for some people. It's not as quick, right? It turns into a little bit slower of a deck.
It's got 4 questing beasts and 1 scavenging ooze. I don't agree with that. I think they should definitely up the amount of scavenging oozes in there. That card is so powerful. It's so good in historic right now. To run one of those is insane. Like, I run 3 in my Gruul deck, and I still feel like I need to slot another one in there because just like it's always useful. If your creatures die, you grow it, you gain life, and then there's so many decks that utilize graveyard stuff right now. Even without the Phoenix being gone, there's still so much stuff that uses graveyards, and like we just went over a deck that did that, right, with the Mizzix Mastery. Yeah. Right. Scavenging just knocks that thing. It kills that deck. So I think this list needs some updating. All right. Anything else? Yeah, you said you didn't have anything.
No.
All right.
I'm good.
So.
All right.
This one. This is sweet. Tokens.
All right. Boros Tokens, yeah, take it away, dude. This is definitely a Hoshi deck if I have ever seen one.
Hell yeah, I love this deck. I definitely made it. I don't know about the indomitable creativity. I feel like triple red is a tough sell in any non-monocolored deck. So it is running 4 Transmogrifies and then 2 Indomitable Creativities, which is fine, I guess. I'd rather run like a Luca or something instead of that. But I mean, this is what most people are running, I guess. And so this whole deck's goal is to throw out a bunch of tokens, throw out Intangible Virtue, which was one of the cards that I said I was most excited about, in the last historic anthologies, and it slotted into this deck perfectly. And then with the Transmogrify and Indomitable Creativity, you sacrifice one of your tokens and then pull out Elish Norn, and then all of your tokens become 2/2s, and then it slaughters all of the elves on the other side of the field, or at least dramatically reduces them in power, and then your guys become stronger. It's a 4 point swing in your favor. So this deck, when you get Elish Norn out with it, is amazing. One of the things that I am not seeing in this deck, which I really do like running, they're running Lightning Helix, which is a really good card. But Fire Eye Prophecy, I think, is better because you don't want Elish Norn in your hand. Right, so if you have Elish Norn in your opening hand, which Arena loves to give you like the highest card value in your deck in your opening hand, if you have Fire Eye Prophecy, you can kill something and then put Elish Norn back into your deck, which is where you want it. So I would put one of those in there. I do love Rip Apart. That card's super good. Servo. All the stuff looks really good, and I love the one sneaky Mana Tithe that's in here. Mana Tithe is just such it's such a good card. It's so good, and it just blows people out all the time. No one thinks about the Mana Tithe. it's always a shocker. What do you think about the token stack?
I like it. I think it looks fun.
It is.
It's definitely different than like shit I normally play, but I do like token decks. And it looks a little bit more viable, I think, than a lot of other ones I've seen because it has a lot of interaction.
It does.
And I think that I like that more than anything, is just because I want to be able to... I actually don't think an Indomitable Creativity is bad. I don't think triple red is bad in this deck just because the mana's so good. We're in a really good format with really good mana that going triple 1 color and a 2 color deck isn't. I don't think it's that hard. And now in a 3 color deck, sure, it would be pretty fucking hard. And then I also really like the in what is this? The integrity intervention card. That card's good. I think this is really sweet. I really like this.
I think it's weird that they're not running Heroic Reinforcements, which is a 4-drop that gives you like 2 1/1s, and then all your creatures get +1/+1 in haste. That card is really good, and it closes out games really quickly. So I think it's weird they're not running that. I also like that new Planeswalker that just came out in the last set, the red one that makes the Devil tokens. I think that one's really good in this deck, because you can give all your tokens +1/+1 as well, and haste or something, I think. I have a lot of opinions about this deck.
I know you do.
which no one cares. I am the token master.
So. All right, put your freaking nerd hat away. We're getting away from this. We're gonna move on to the next deck.
All right,
you can put your nerd hat back on, dude, because we're going to Boros Lurrus.
I guess I did not get that one spun up in here. But
okay.
Yeah.
So Boros Lurrus is a more spells matters type deck where you're pumping creatures, but this is also stuff I think you like to do.
Absolutely.
This could easily run Feather in it if you wanted it to. I just think Feather's a little too clunky.
Well,
this deck looks freaking sweet, man. I think my pick of this set with Clever Lumimancer. What like that was my pick of the set was Clever Lumimancer.
Yeah, Luminarch.
I really enjoy stuff like this. It's really fun to just make a big old beefy dude. I like it a lot. Has a lot of good cards in here. You can never go wrong with Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that card could easily have been banned, and it would have made a huge difference in the format because it is a pain in the fucking ass.
It's a great card. Yeah, absolutely.
It's an amazing card. What do you think of it, though? What do you think of this deck?
It's a great deck. I play against it quite often, I feel like. And I think it's really strong. It is a glass cannon deck, though. That's why they run Lurrus in it. That's why they don't run Feather, because if you run Feather, then Lurrus can't be your companion. And, you know, if Lurrus is a good, like, you know, thing at the end to be able to bring back your guys. So I feel like it's a little clunky. I've played it, you know, with, you know, your guy, like, it's one of those spells decks where it's a deck that relies on creatures and spells. So your opening hand has to have both of those things, right? And then you have to rely on your things not dying. So I feel like it's fun and it can be very powerful, but it also just gets completely destroyed, you know, if anything falls apart. So I'm surprised to see an average win rate of about 59% with this deck. But I mean, you know, there are turn 3s where you can kill somebody with this deck as well. So I mean, it's a best of 1 deck. I think it runs well in best of 1. Yeah.
You can, like, you know, you can win a game very easily. I think this deck is cool. We are also running long, though, so I'm going to cut us both off from this.
Okay.
We have, after this, we have Mono Red Goblins and Jeskai. Nobody cares. Do you care?
No.
Yeah, exactly. And so, with that, that's going to take us to our end step. Oh man, I laugh every time, dude. It's so funny. I love it. And recently, we've been talking about our Magic history, but now Apollo's gone. I don't know. We have to kind of figure out what we're gonna do. Like, we used to talk about nerdy stuff, but
it feels
weird.
You know
what? We've gone long.
It feels weird to talk about our history without, you know, him being here, who's like part of our Magic history together. So,
absolutely. I agree completely.
Maybe we'll have to wait till pick it up till he gets back, or we'll have to figure something else out for this segment. So I think we'll just skip it for now.
Skip it for now. Yeah, end step. So long. And with that, we go into our cleanup. And our cleanup is... Our cleanup is where we just have a bunch of social media promos going across the bottom or top or side of the screen, wherever they are. And it's our, you know, you can join our Discord page. You can follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. You can watch our YouTube if you aren't already. We would absolutely love that. Listen to us on Spotify and iTunes.
Yeah.
We have to figure that out because Apollo was doing that before Spotify and iTunes. So now that's on us. I don't think we have last week's episode up, and I am sorry for that.
Okay.
Anyway, any social media platforms, just, you know, look us up, Mana Dorks or Mana Rant. It's very confusing, but those are the two we go by.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we move into our discard phase.
Drink 'em up, boys.
And, dude, those are so good. They're so good. And this is where we finish what we've been drinking.
Yeah.
So I haven't been looking at you. It's hard to look at you for so long. I hide your face.
I feel the same way. Looking at me.
Good.
Yeah. I don't like looking at me either.
Oh, you. Oh, I thought you were going to say it with me.
Yeah, no, that as well. I don't like looking at either of us. It's very painful.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard, man. This was a long weekend of staring at someone that I didn't want to stare at. That's really what it was.
That's true.
But anyway, cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Jacavio. Cheers, S'mores and Bacon. Cheers, everyone who's watching.
Cheers,
Thank
everyone.
you. We appreciate it. And
we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Hello?
Bye.